about being mentally strong that has me feeling like that girl. What's up, good people? Welcome and welcome back to another video. It's your girl Alex at Defined by Alex. Here on this channel, I want to help you define your life and build your dream. Speaking of both, okay, defining your life and building your dream, I want to share with you 4 books that help me honestly grow personally, okay? Now, to be quite honest with you, I'm not an avid reader, but back in 2021, I had to turn to something, okay? Because I was honestly becoming a victim of my own negative thoughts. So I turned to reading, and I want to share with you the 4 books that has helped me really elevate my mental clarity, help me stay disciplined, develop new habits, and also learn how to love myself. So let's dive into those books. So you might have been seeing this book kind of circulate around the internet, okay? A lot of people talk about this book, so I wanted to check it out myself, and that is the Atomic Habits book by James Clear. Now, this particular book to me was a great read because honestly, I just had to get rid of some habits and also gain more healthier habits. So if you're looking to establish better habits that's going to help you grow mentally, physically, child, all that good stuff, and I highly recommend this book because there's nothing like having a habit form that's going to help you elevate, okay? The word for the year is elevate. So if you want to start gaining that awareness of where your habits are, what habits you need to break, okay? Because we all got habits we gotta break. Let's just call it what it is. We not sugarcoating on this channel. So when it comes to habits, yes, there are some habits that we still need to break. And for me, back in 2021, that was a mentally heavy year. I don't know if it was just because I just did not feel aligned with what I was doing. I was done working my 9 to 5 at the time, so I really had so much time on my hands, and I didn't really know honestly which way I was going some days. So I turned to reading, and when I start seeing this book circulating on a lot of other creators' channels, I did get interested, okay? So I drank the Kool-Aid of really picking up the trend of what other creators are reading. But it's not just creators who are reading this book. There are people who are really successful who has read this book because successful people have, you know, really healthy habits. And I think of myself as a successful and ongoing successful woman. There's a lot of things I want to accomplish in my life, and that starts with me having that mental focus. That starts with me having the habits that's going to take me to that next level. So Atomic Habits is a book I recommend if you're wanting to, you know, establish your own healthy habits, break away from the habits that are not good for you, and start elevating in your life. Now, this second book is going to be for the people who feel like they need to rush in their life. I personally always felt like I had to rush and do things, and you know, sometimes when you rush, you lose the quality in what you want to do, and we don't live like that no more. We take our time over here, and taking your time is honestly so good for you. So the second book I read to really help me grow and elevate on a personal level was called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. When I tell you this book got me together so quickly, okay? Number one, the author is also a pastor, so he ties in scriptures that really relate to, you know, when it comes to hurrying and how to take your time, because when we hurry, that is not how we're supposed to be living our lives, okay? So if you are like me and you want to get things done fast, just because you want to get things done fast does not mean that it's going to be efficient, and that does not mean that it's going to be, again, as of really good quality. So I had to be reminded in a season of being on social media and you see everybody getting it, okay? And of course, people are only going to post what they think is successful. I had to check myself because I thought that I had to rush and get all these things, all these accolades. I had to rush and make 6 figures, and I lost sight of what it really felt like taking my time or being still, right? For lack of better words, because being still, there is so much benefit in that, because we can't always just be on the go. We got to be still when it comes to elevation, especially when it comes to isolation. When you're in your isolated period, you're not going to be moving in that rushy type of mindset. You're going to sit down, you're going to take some time to assess. And that's why when I read this book, I honestly just felt like he was just talking to me in my face right here in person, because I've had struggles with rushing, and I still kind of do, not gonna lie. It's not a quick fix, but I've had issues with how I, you know, like to scurry and do things. And because I didn't have help when it came to me running my business, filming my content on YouTube, editing, I felt like I still had to be in this kind of warped mindset of getting things done very quickly. And what happened was, that's how I burnt out very quickly. So if you're like me and you take pride in getting a lot of things done on your own, very independently, there's times where we do need to sit down. There's times where we need to be still, we need to chill, okay? And so this book right here, The Ruthless Elimination Elimination of Hurry is a really great read. He ties in some really good scriptures because I don't know about you, but I'ma always need me some Jesus. So if you like that, interpretation of scriptures and how you can apply it to real life, then I recommend this book for sure. By the way, these books are listed down below in my description box if you guys become interested after this video. I gotta take a sip of water because this next one is about to snatch your edges. Whew. Let me just say this. At some point in all of our lives, we have compared ourselves to somebody else. Whether that's a peer that you actually know, from growing up, somebody in your family, or a lot of us, myself included, have compared ourselves to people on social media. The stronghold that comparison has, when you look at somebody living their best life on social media, is so toxic. It's so toxic. It's super cringy. I really am comparing myself to a person that is not thinking about me. The pressure is getting worse. Which is why this book right here, honey, Killing Comparison by Nona Jones, is gonna be your best friend. She walks us through her personal life, and I really love that touch of a book. When an author can tie in personal stories. Now, she gives fictitious names because she doesn't want to just out the people who did her wrong. But I say that to say, I love the fact that she ties in her personal upbringing. I'm not gonna spoil it, okay? You gotta check out the book if you really wanna read it. But what I gained from this book was that there is nothing like knowing that you have your own internal gift. I recently posted a video talking about embracing your weirdness, okay? So you can check that video out up here. But I say all that to say, when it comes to comparison, that is the most toxic amount of pressure we can put on ourselves. Comparison will have you spending money that you don't need to spend. Comparison will have you hanging around people who don't like you. Comparison will have you doing things that you know for good and well you ain't got no business doing, all because you see somebody's life in 30 seconds on your phone. And so this book is so personal to me because yes, I struggle with comparison, okay? And I say struggle because it's a present thing. I don't want to ever be on this camera and letting y'all know that I've just gotten rid of all my problems. No, I deal with them every day just like you. And although I love making content, y'all know I love being here. Also, thank you for watching. But something about being authentic and real is just so near and dear to my heart because for so long I lived the life for other people. I talked about this before, but I grew up just like you. Go to work, go to school, get a good job, that's it. There was really nothing else to it. It was pretty straightforward, and I really didn't know that I had so much power in myself when it came to being on camera. And I grew up dancing, so I was always on stage, and that's why I feel like I really love YouTube, because YouTube and this camera is my stage. So I have that equivalency from my childhood, from being, someone who was on stage, someone who was used to a routine and having that criticism from, her dance instructors. But that criticism, I didn't realize was a seed for me to compare myself to other people. So I say all that to say, if you're struggling with comparing, let me tell you something, honey, that is inevitable. We all gonna compare in one way or another, ourselves to someone that we're looking at online, especially when it comes to women. I don't know, I can't speak for men. I don't know if men compare themselves like that, but for women, I know that we do this often because we might see a woman going out on fancy dates. We might see her being flued out, okay? And all these good, extravagant luxuries that deep down in our heart, we want to do and have as well. So before you go and compare yourself to that person who is on social media that does not know you from a can of paint, that is not thinking about you, I want you to know that if you read this book by Nona Jones, this is going to really help you break that cycle of comparison. She also ties in some really good scriptures for you to just know and just validate yourself with the word of God, so that way you know why you should not compare yourself. There is no prize at the end of your path for comparing yourself. There is no medal. There is nothing that's going to benefit you when you compare. So as a part of my own personal growth, I had to be honest with myself. I was comparing myself real bad, girl. real bad, and it was not cute, okay? It's not cute. We are not bringing this energy into 2023. We are embracing our weirdness exactly who we are. So if you're like that and you are struggling with comparing yourself, highly recommend you read this book. Take your time with this book, and I pray that you break free, okay, of the shackles of comparison. Now, the first 3 books I just mentioned can apply to anyone. However, this last book is specifically for Black women. Black women, I love us. And I think that it's so important that we are just really tied into our emotional stability as Black women. This book right here, Emotional Self-Care for Black Women, written by, Layla Moon. It's kind of like your homegirl talking to you, right? You know how you have those one-on-ones with your homegirl, and you have those really intimate, platonic conversations with your homegirl. This book was that for me. I really felt like for a while I had some emotional, instabilities, okay? I still kind of do. Guess what? I'm not perfect. A lot of people have them. And so here I am, honestly just being honest that there's a lot of things that I was just unstable in emotionally. Like, But seriously, when it comes to emotional self-care, we gotta stop beating ourselves up, girls. We gotta stop it. There is nothing worse than beating yourself up emotionally because, we were surrounded by people who just wasn't there for us, supporting us. And I know that plays a big part in how you feel about yourself, because a lot of people, people still don't, but I'm not here to argue. So watch the comments that you're gonna be leaving in this video. But I just say all that to say, when it comes to, emotional self-care for Black women, we gotta give ourselves that. Make that a requirement for 2023. Don't deprive yourself, Black women, from giving yourself that emotional self-care. That can look like anything, okay? That can look like, going on a fitness journey. That could be constantly speaking affirmations, positive affirmations, every day, every hour, every minute, every second, however often you do it. We have to make sure that our emotional self-care is taken seriously, because you guys have heard the phrase, the way you treat yourself, other people will treat you as well, right? So when it comes to relationships, the way that men treat you is a reflection of how you treat yourself. And as someone who has gotten out of relationships that weren't for me, I wasn't aligned with these men, they lacked emotional maturity, I realized that the reason why I was able to identify that they lacked emotional maturity was because I'm such an empathic person. And I don't say that as a bad thing. I love being empathic. I love being able to connect with someone based off emotions alone, because I don't know about you, but that's a skill that to me is a flex. So being an empathic person, I can recognize when somebody isn't, in touch with their emotions. And if you're not in touch with your emotions, you're not going to be in touch with my emotions. So it's my job to be emotionally secure as a Black woman. So that way, when it comes to my future husband and he sees me doing me, he's going to already know before even speaking to me that I am emotionally secure. So this book, I saved it for last because I always like to save the best for last. And so when it comes to personal growth, okay, Black women, be sure that you're taking care of yourselves emotionally this year, okay? Now, drop a comment down for me telling me you promise that you're gonna take care of yourself emotionally this year, because you deserve to. This world needs you. The world needs Black women, okay? Just saying. And I say that with love. And just because I say that for Black women, it doesn't mean I dislike any other person. I'm just saying that when it comes to our emotions and our emotional self-care, Black women, take it seriously, prioritize it, read this book, get in touch with those emotions, and let Layla speak to you like, your homegirl. So that way you can walk out of this year really feeling like you are, you have a tight ship when it comes to regulating your emotions, and you can recognize when someone is not treating you well because of how they are in their life with their emotions. But all right, good people, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the books that I shared when it came to my own personal growth. Okay, this was my own personal list. Everybody has their own list, okay, so to each his own. But if you stay for this long, then again, thank you so much. Again, if you're interested in any of the books that I mentioned in today's video, they're linked in my description box below. As always, y'all, subscribe if you're liking the vibe, and I'm gonna catch you in my next video. Bye, y'all.